If you look back, I'm really working in an industry that didn't exist when I got out of college. I mean, I work in the cloud software space. And when I was in college, the internet truly didn't exist. The World Wide Web definitely didn't exist. It's been a really interesting path. I spent almost 20 years on the corporate side and really multi-billion-dollar companies. And all of this time, as I grew and learned more about, myself and saw some of our customers, some of these small businesses we were working with, and kind of their entrepreneurial attitude towards work, I really began to think, okay, what would it be like to step away from the corporate side and take a leap of faith? Ultimately, my love of small business and my love of software development led me into a couple of different startups here in Austin. I am not a coder, would never pretend to be, a software engineer. I know a lot of really smart ones, which makes my job a lot easier. I've always been more on the business side, so coming up with the business plan, the growth strategy, marrying what, customers wants or needs to a product we could put in the market, developing the business plan and running the business. The coolest thing about what I do now is making people happy. So whether that's a customer or our own team because of some growth objective that we met or something that we delivered into the market, the most exciting things I get to see now is just making somebody else happy. One of the most important things I learned at Tech in the College of Media and Communications, which at the time it was called Mass Communications, was how to tie your message to the end user, or really tie your product to the end user via your messaging. That was one of the most important things I learned at Tech, and that served me very well when I started my career in the advertising agency business. None of that has changed over the years. So even though I'm in the software business now, nothing at all has changed in terms of what's important in terms of understanding the value of a product, understanding the needs of a customer, and tying those two things together. I learned all of those things at Texas Tech. I learned how to do that at Texas Tech, and it's only grown over time. My daughter's an engineering major. It's easy to see a path, for engineers, which is a great path. I think when you're a communications major, you have a very broad path that you can take. I mean, you can really do anything you want. I work in, software and running software businesses now, and I started my career in the advertising agency business. But a lot of the things I lean on are the communication skills that were really born and fostered from Texas Tech. It was an obvious choice for me to be a Red Raider. My wife's even smarter than I am because she's from Austin, Texas, and she chose to be, a Red Raider. So only the smart ones from Austin become Red Raiders. My daughter, Larson, is a junior. And then my son, Landon, he's a junior in high school, so he has some choices to make in the next year or so. I think as a Texas Tech student about to graduate or one who's just graduated, I absolutely believe to be successful, you have to help other people be successful. The more that you can support, other people to help them reach their objectives, ultimately that's going to help you reach your objectives. I truly believe that. I think the most important things you can do are work really, really hard, learn a whole, bunch as you go and apply that learning, and to build really, really great relationships. And these would be relationships that you can leverage over time and where they can leverage you over time. When you do all of those things, opportunities will present themselves. Don't get stressed out. Don't feel like you have to push or press or know exactly where you want to be in 20 years. If you just put in the work, you'll have choices and you'll have a better sense of what your passions are and what you're really good at, and you'll have the ability to go follow them at that point.